and welcome to the middle of the African bush for tonight's Animal World Live with the Painted Dog TV pack. Lion's chasing the dog. Hello everyone.
Hi,
Lovely
guys.
to have you here. It's so exciting. Who we got here? Hi Angie, Ernie, Jumbo, Habari Ghani, TGS Widget, Barbara, Vicky, Pam, Rosalind, Julie, everyone, Lily. It's so great to have you all with us live, obviously. It is a little bit chillier tonight, so we are not having a fake fire. We've actually got a real fire for the evening. And Zander is actually in the background burning some meat for dinner afterwards, well, with Melissa's help, of course. But it's really great to have you all here. It's been a busy week for everyone, and a very exciting week, as it is, of course, Painted Dog Month, and lots that's going on in and running around behind
everywhere.
the scenes. Yeah. Hello, James. Hello, Mary, Rachel, Brenda, Amanda, Peter. Yeah, so really awesome to have you here. We've got some quite exciting news to chat about a little bit later when we have our special guest on Painted Dog Month. That's, of course, Grant Beverley from the Endangered Wildlife Trust. But before we get to that, oh no,
What?
It's time for live cams.
Yes.
I think there's some exciting stuff. I, of course, have not seen what's coming. UK
I have.
and Bavu have been picking what's coming up. And VM is deciding what we're going to see.
It's a jam-packed one.
It's a jam-packed one. Oh, very exciting. And of course, if there are any of you who speak Japanese, you can catch Animal World Live in Japanese.
Some of you guys watched the Japanese one. I could see the comments. Like some English was coming through. I'm like, oh wow.
And that is at 1 p.m. Central African time.
Yes.
That is
Yes,
correct.
that's
So
true.
if you can speak Japanese, would like to learn how to speak Japanese, you can watch a version of
More than
Animal World
welcome.
Live with UK in Japanese.
Yeah, welcome.
Now, on Yuka on Safari, and if you haven't subscribed to her YouTube channel, you better go
Please
do
do.
it now. Okay, let's get to live cams. What's up first? Oh, Black Rhino,
Yep.
again.
Yeah.
That is Jock, that is his name. That
Jock,
is the male
okay.
Black
I
Rhino.
didn't know his name.
Yes.
Joke.
I'm so happy that we're starting to see the Black Rhinos.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to see them during the dry season.
I think maybe we didn't choose it, but we have seen on the camera. Yeah, they're in a dry season. We have some.
But very cool. So that's the male Black Rhino of the Riksbraet Game Reserve. He is has been known to be a bit grumpy from time to time, as most Black Rhinos are.
Yeah.
When he was still in the Boma
Yeah.
at Rhino Revolution, he managed to get out of his little holding pen and destroy a brand new Land Cruiser.
Yo, this guy.
This guy, that very Rhino, Jock, he did a proper job on the Rhino
Sounds rough.
Revolution vehicle. Fortunately, they were able to fix it. Oh no, Betty! You haven't had a chance to look at the cameras all week. Annie says, Yuka, you were great.
Annie, I saw your name. Thanks for watching too.
Yes, we all watch and we have no idea what she's saying.
I'm sure
She
you
could be
did.
saying, Brent's mad, Brent's crazy.
You guys never know.
Yeah. So cool, that's very cool to see Jock the Black Rhino. Okay, Vimpy, what we got next? Buffalo herd, by the looks of things, on the Pridelands weather cam. It's just so wonderfully green.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of buffalo at the moment on Pridelands, some nice herds. One herd of over 100, I'd guess.
Big one, yeah.
And we're starting to see yellow-billed oxpeckers on them, which is very exciting. Very exciting stuff.
It's very green. It's so amazing view.
Yeah. And it is starting to dry up quite a bit, but we are scheduled for some rain next week as well.
Yeah, Wednesday I think you said.
Wednesday or Tuesday.
Yeah. It's a nice frame here now with the leaves. I like it in the summer version of it.
So obviously now that is up at one of our tree peaters. And I think this is just a portion of a herd. You can see it's definitely a herd. You can see the horns of the cows obviously not having that big boss. What were you doing?
So I couldn't hear, so I put the volume up.
Volume up. So that's very cool. And we're hoping that the Ngati Pride is going to start moving a bit further.
Oh, I hope so.
Up to this area with all the buffalo here. Now, our Pride has 11 cubs.
Exciting.
Exciting indeed. But they do traverse Pridelands, Kwenga, and Jejani mostly. And very exciting, of course, is that some of you have noticed we have started traversing on Kwenga, but there'll be a lot more about that coming in the not too distant future. Okay, let's see what's next. Oh, the boys.
Oh, this is so cool.
Ooh.
Big
Fat
tummy.
bellies.
Yeah.
So, for those of you who don't know, or don't follow my dad, they killed and ate a sub-adult giraffe in less than 48 hours.
You.
The whole thing gone, just bones. So they were
They
very,
must
very
be
fat.
thirsty.
Ah, Ola has arrived in Hoedspruit today. Well, hi.
Hello.
Oh, so great to catch up with these big boys. Dum, dum, dum. They're going to be absolute monsters. And you can see how much darker their manes are. And look at those elbow tufts starting to get going.
Yeah. Getting way more magnificent every week.
They are absolutely beautiful beasts, those boys.
They drink from there.
Whoa, it's easier.
Yeah, easier, I guess. Yeah.
Male lion, full of giraffe, lazy. Don't have to put his head up, he can just lie down.
That's true. Yeah, so cool. They even look like they struggle to walk because the tummy is so big and heavy. Very lazy.
Very, very lazy indeed. Look, I mean, he's even got his foot in the water. I mean, lion.
Look at that.
That's a proper lazy male lion.
That's so funny.
Oh, magic. James, they are indeed monster. Jane, I love the boys as well. There you go. Ola will be on Pridelands tomorrow and Juma with Tristan and Addie on Monday. Well, very exciting. Janet, how old are they? They're about 5.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Around 5. I'll double check on that, but they're 5. So they're actually only really coming into their prime now. So that's where I'm guessing. No, that water hole is pumped. It wasn't from the rain, and it just obviously overflowed a little bit. Okay, let's see what's next, guys. Pridelands Ellie Cam.
This one you have to watch carefully.
You gotta watch carefully. Is there another animal in the back? I see an. Is that a leopard? There's a leopard.
Yeah.
There's a leopard right behind the elephant. Unbelievable. You can just see a leopard in that little, let me try to describe. The leopard is drinking at the same time as the elephant. So on the left, there we go, you saw the eyes. As it picked up on the infrared. I think Vem's going to take it back and show you now. Ah, there she is.
Yeah, how cool is this?
That's a leopard. Oh, and I think the elephants might have caught wind of her. It looks like a female. Oh, could
But
have
even
just been
other one
the other
came, yeah.
elephant.
Yeah, this was very cool.
I wonder which leopard this is. I think it must be Des Moines.
It did look like a female.
The female
Yeah.
who doesn't really come down here too often. She's generally to the north of us.
This is another bit of visual of it.
That is definitely a female. Is it? Or is it the young male? Is it twin spot?
I was trying to see the golden nugget, but I couldn't see.
I told Yuka once that a male leopard has golden nuggets, and that's now all Yuka refers to leopard testicles as golden nuggets. Vimby, what do you think? I think it's a young male.
Maybe, yeah.
I think it's a young
yeah.
male. I think
It's difficult to see with pixelation, the nuggets. Maybe.
I think it's the young male. Yeah. I think it's the young male.
We do have a younger male come through.
I think it could be our twin spot. That nice male who's been around here a bit, yeah. So that could be very cool if he is. Yeah, I think it's a male. Oh, that's very exciting. Leopard and elephant here at the Pridelands Ellie Camp. Okay, let's see what's next. Oh, I remember how excited you were. This was last night.
Yeah, this was the first time we got these guys on this camera. Well, as far as we know, that's been recorded.
Okay, I think it's the two young boys. Busy at Pridelands. Leopard. So now we've got leopard, elephant. Oh, I know these guys. These are the 5 Wium I filmed the other day. And a lot of you will notice that some of the horns are a little bit long. They have all been dehorned since. They were dehorned
I think yesterday. Yeah.
So all 4 of these rhinos were dehorned yesterday.
Look at
now, of course, dehorning is one of the many things that we do to keep the animals safe out here, particularly the rhinos. Now, I actually found out something very interesting about this group of rhinos today when I was speaking to the warden. The baby, the young one there, is actually an orphan.
Oh, really?
That has been adopted by Jane, which is the big female.
Sure.
Who was actually rescued and brought back and released into the north of Beverley on the other side of the Olifants River.
No way.
And she's moved all the way down here, and somewhere she has picked up an orphaned rhino, and he's decided to stay with her. And it's a little boy.
That's very cool.
Yes.
Nice to know the background of these guys.
Well, yeah, you can. Rachel's been asking, what's been your favorite, what's your best sighting this week?
This week?
How many rhinos have you seen this week?
Yeah.
Rachel's asking you lots of questions today.
Oh, no, hello Rachel, thank you. I think this week in person I didn't see rhinos, but through the camera I saw them. It was very exciting. And I don't know, the best thing. I've seen the frog like just there in front of the door. That's the cutest thing. The bushveld rain frog.
Bushveld rain frogs.
It was so cool. And I have seen him there as well before, so I don't know.
A little grumpy old man.
Yeah, it was so cute again. So that was exciting for me, I saw.
Wium, apparently there's a rhino on one of the cams live right now.
What?
Let's see if Wium might be able to find it. There we go. There, at Boskamp.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah, it looks like
Good
one of the big, thanks Ernie, well done. Well, okay, we're just going to probably jump across to that now. Well, hopefully this is a good sign, and just now there's going to be a leopard live, there's going to be a lion live.
How cool is that, eh?
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Looks like it's one of the big bulls, more interested in scent marking than having a drink. Lara Moore, I talk to the frogs in my mom's garden, but I've never seen one.
You must come to this house here. There's so many of them.
Lots. So there we go. It looks like one of the big bulls of the Rietspruit, one of the big white rhino bulls. I'm not too interested in drinking, just having a munch around the edge there. Lots of nice green grass on the short grasses there.
This is cool. That's happening right now.
Yeah, this is live right now. Oh, there we go, back to it. Okay, well, let's keep to the highlights and see what's up next. Oh, is this Lady Lagatha?
Yeah, also that was my guess.
Looks very small, very young, but very happy to see her with a very fat belly. That's wonderful. That looks like Lagatha. Obviously, it's quite difficult to tell when it's at night with the infrared, but it definitely does look like Lagatha based on the size.
So all big five in 1 week.
Well, we haven't had buffalo on this camera yet.
We did on the reservoir.
Yeah, but this on one camera, not yet.
Okay, well, not on one camera.
Oh, yes, not on one camera. So that's very cool. We haven't seen Naga for a while. She could be definitely spending time to the north of us in Jejani. The rest of the pride and the males are down in the east and northeast around the Mutlabetsi River. So she could definitely be just to the north of us at the moment. Okay, let's go across to the next live highlight. Back at, oh, hi. It's my bye-bye. When was this?
17th?
A few days ago. My bye-bye and the girls. Now, there's going to be some very interesting news coming out about them in the not too distant future, but I can't tell you just yet. I wish I could, but I can't. Being a bit nervy. Guinea fowl following them. So this guinea fowl will be alarming at them.
Yep, going loud.
Guess what time of the show it is?
Oh my word, again.
Yucca, it is time for Yucca's animal impersonations. It wouldn't be a Saturday night without Yucca's animal impersonations. So
Not that I'm good at it. Okay, let me do this. Whew.
Guinea fowl alarm calls.
Okay. Pretty good, no, Brian? Yeah.
No, I do it again. I want to listen properly.
You doing this after me, hey?
Maybe. No, that's a tree squirrel.
Yeah, it's getting confused now.
Yeah, I'm getting confused now.
Well, anyway, I think I did well.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Thanks, Brian.
Okay, let's have a look at the next live cam. Oh no, sorry, I'm distracted. I'm still laughing at Yucca. But there you go. Now, it's not uncommon for animals like guinea fowl to follow around predators, especially if they feel safe, that there's enough space between them that they'll be able to get away. Now, you can look at those tails swishing angrily. There we go, thirsty kitties. Okay, well, we've got so much still to get through for the show, so let's have a look at the next highlight. Oh, the piggies again.
These guys, every week.
Well, if you had a spa that was just there for you to use
for
whenever you
free.
would like,
Yeah, I'll go there.
why not? Messing up the lion's drinking puddle.
That's true. So cute though. Just chilling in the mud.
I'm still waiting. Oh, we've had the warthogs chase cheetah at this on this camera before.
Yeah, we did.
I am waiting for the day that the lions chase something on this camera.
Or like even
I think
catch something.
Or catch something.
Yeah.
I think it's going to happen. I think the only thing that we've ever had caught live on a camera was a baby hyena.
Baby hyena
Got killed by a male lion live.
in a live camera.
We had a camera on the hyena then when it was on Ledward.
Oh yeah, I've seen it. Sorry, I've seen it.
I'm not
I've
saying
seen
you
it many
should
times.
know. You should know about that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so was that the last one, Vimpy? Sorry, I didn't hear what you said. Oh, there's more. I'm so excited. Let's go. Oh, thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
Oh, no, not again. Oh, these guys. Thankfully, my dad goes and cleans the camera for us. Sometimes the baboons try to put a whole camera in their mouth. Green 400 magazine. How do the animals find the water? Well, they can smell it generally, and a lot of these, oh, these silly baboons.
So
Now
cute.
putting his snort, yeah, he's gonna try to eat
so
it.
cute. I love it.
But yes, by smell, generally they'll be able to smell the water. Melissa's trying to be funny, sitting over there. wants to know, does Yuka's punch guinea fowl game apply? Was that Charles? Or was that you, Melissa? It is Melissa.
I forgot about this game. No, can I punch you now?
No, you didn't while the guinea fowl were
Damn
there. Yes, James,
forgot.
actually, one of the biggest problems we've had with cameras has been baboons. We had to re-rig the whole Boskamp camera out of the tree because the baboons kept pulling and playing on the wires. Didn't matter how we put them into the tree, the baboons managed to somehow get them and pull them out. So we actually had to change the whole system at Boskamp to stop the baboons doing that. So now they can sort of lick and get to the camera itself, but they can't get to any of the wires. Okay, let's have a look what's next. Hello, CJ Mac4, welcome. It's Impy, the father of my Bye Byes girls.
Busy.
Very busy week on the live cams. And he is one of the biggest male cheetah I have ever seen.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, so even with an empty stomach. Hello, Tanis. He weighs about nearly 70 kilograms, which for a cheetah is absolutely massive.
Sure.
Yeah, so very exciting stuff. Okay, next up is... it's back at Critter Cam. It's our resident rock monitor.
Our neighbor. So cool.
Yeah, in the garden. Off he goes. Pam, the cameras are not shiny at all. Brian does a fantastic job painting them in camouflaged colors, but there is obviously a lens that will catch light and be shiny, so that's possibly what attracts some attention. Mary, exactly. He is a monster male cheetah. He's one of the biggest on record. Angie, I don't think we've had any more sightings of the baboon with the burnt arm.
Not recently.
Not recently, no. The baboon troop did come through around here. I heard them.
In our property.
Oh, were they in the garden? I heard
Many
them.
times.
Yes. Okay. Helgard, so EWT is working on the cheetah metapopulation and redistribution program, and we will be doing some work with them in the not too distant future. So very exciting stuff. Okay, let's see what's next. Oh, back in Critter Cam, I can see ants. Oh, hello.
How cute is this?
My Shinjana, the tree squirrel. Come on, Yuka. Squirrel alarm calls.
Now I'm stuck with guinea fowl. Like, that's same as guinea fowl. Can't anymore.
No.
There you go. It's so cute.
Yes. So there we go. That's nice. A little tree squirrel in the garden. Shaw and Monty's friend.
Yeah, they were back for it.
Our poor dogs just look at them and they can't get to them because they're always too high and they run along the roof.
Yeah, they're very cute.
Okay, let's see what's next. Last clip. Oh, I think it's going to be a big one. A good one. What is it? Oh, we're back in Critter.
I think I know what's coming.
Slender mongoose, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Wium is going to end off on the slender mongoose. Of course he is. Oh, they are such exquisite creatures, slender mongoose.
Cool.
And CJ Mac4, we know we don't actually see Hasana. He's in the Sabi Sands. We're in the Baluli. He went south. We're north. So unfortunately not. Let me check and see if I'm... Oh, you know what time it is, Yuka?
What time is it?
What time is it, Yuka? It's time for your pictures.
Oh.
The pictures that
So
you've
I was
shared.
checking the time, like actually 6 to 8.
That you've shared on the app with us. And again, if you haven't downloaded the Painted Dog TV app, you can do so on both the Play Store, is that right? Play Store, Google Store, or the Apple Store. You can download the Painted Dog TV app and you can share your pictures and have the chance of having them featured on Animal World Live. Now, first up is Lucas. Let's see what Lucas has got for us today. Lucas? Lucas, I think you might be quite a professional photographer.
Yeah.
Your photos are absolutely beautiful.
Wow.
That is incredible. I think that is a sea lion
In Mexico.
in Los Islotes in Mexico. Mexico. In October 2020, so recently.
Wow.
Absolutely beautiful.
This is amazing.
So that is an incredible photograph. I'm jealous. I wish I'd taken that photograph, Lucas.
Yeah, that's some amazing experience.
And well, next up is Amanda P. Now, St. Lucia. So this is in South Africa. And that is probably, do you know what that is, Yuka?
Is it like a frog nest?
No.
Maybe like more like a cocoon type of thing?
What animal do you think made that?
It's quite large, no? Or is it just
It's
the small
relatively
leaves?
large.
I don't know.
I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's ants.
Ants? Oh,
They have-
really?
Yeah, I think that's an ant nest. So the ants are certain species of leaf-cutting ant.
Oh, that's the ants there.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. I thought it was leaves.
So leaf-cutting ants will actually cut the leaves and then sew and stitch and make silk and
wow.
make a nest, a safety nest for them. So
Sure.
that is incredible, Amanda. Very, very nice.
Very, very cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Learn something new.
Go. And that's the wonderful thing about being involved in the bush and in wildlife. You can always learn something new every single day. Danny is next. Aha, Danny.
I wasn't with her.
Yes, Yuka was there. Well, then, yeah. Wonderful photograph, Danny. Danny became the first viewer to ever visit the dog den. And so Yuka took her on a quick little game drive before I had to rush off to the Timbavasi for some work.
Yeah, we had amazing sighting. All the giraffe was in the background trying to drink, and then all these elephants having their
Always in
time.
Rotterdam.
Yeah, and Lowveld next
wonderful.
eco training. Yeah, it was very cool.
That was absolutely wonderful. So yeah, lovely shot, Danny, in our backyard. But yeah, and thanks for being the first viewer to come and
Thank
visit the
you,
dog
yeah.
den. And if anyone does want to visit the dog den, they are in the Hoedspruit area. Just pop an email to info@paintedDog.tv. Okay, let's have a look. Who is up last? It is Betty. Doggies on the hunt. I'm trying to figure out where that is.
Very green.
Oh no, it's Peter, not Betty. Doggies on the hunt.
Amazing.
It looks like Greater Kruger or Kruger, just judging from the trees and the soil.
Nice action going on there.
Yeah, good action. Puppies are very, very active, and that's a great shot of dogs on the move. Okay, and I think we have one more. VMP? And Betty is next. Bomani Camp. I think that's Wangi, if I remember correctly.
Zimbabwe.
In Zimbabwe. And it looks like that doggy has finished the hunt. And it's got a very fat tummy.
Yeah, successful one.
And a piece of an impala.
Very
Peter
cool.
was in the Kruger. There we go, perfect. So very, very fitting to end on, of course, a painted dog, because it is Painted Dog Month. And our next guest is, of course, Grant Beverley from the Endangered Wildlife Trust. But before, we've got a lovely... I've gone absolutely blank, sorry. We've got a lovely story about how EWT is helping create new packs and expand the wild dog population in southern Africa. Hello, Grant.
Hello, Brent.
Welcome again.
Thank you very much. Painted Dog Month continues.
It does indeed. Now, obviously, there was quite a lot of visuals there that might not have made sense to quite a few people sitting at home. So why don't you just talk us through what was going on there?
Sure, yeah. So this links to Endangered Wildlife Trust range expansion project, and as you mentioned, in terms of forming new packs, and it's essentially artificially forming a new pack where you get a group of females and a group of males from two different separated populations or separated reserves, and then we have to make a new pack for introduction into a new reserve. So that process there is the artificial bonding, which is scent recognition. So you're rubbing individual wild dogs against each other, rubbing the females all over the males and the males all over the females, using their scent, urine, scat, and that's while they're under anesthetic, while they're sleeping. And then when the pack wakes up in the temporary holding facility or the boma, then they instantaneously recognize each other because their scent is all over each other, and that instantaneously forms a new bond, which is part of the process of forming a new pack for introduction into a new reserve as part of our range expansion project to increase the population of wild dogs across southern Africa.
Now, we've got some really good questions on this here.
Sure.
Helgard wants to know who first discovered the technique of rubbing the dogs.
So it was quite a while ago. It was in KZN originally, and it was by chance really. You know that essentially before we used to have two separate compartments, so two separate bomas next to each other, and the wild dogs would then have to integrate through the fence, and we used a system of assessing the cohesiveness in the pack based on how often they who call. So they who call because they feel like they're still missing individuals from their original pack, and then it's a sort of Euclidean distance that they're lying away from each other with that separation fence in between. And then eventually it was a necessity because there wasn't a boma with separation that the wild dogs were rubbed together, and it worked. So it was stumbled across really, and then it's done more recently. We've done it more systematically from a scientific point of view to see that they actually bond a lot quicker. Within 48 hours, it's shown that this rubbing technique, which is olfactory recognition, within 48 hours they 100% bonded pack, which we saw with this most recent bonding attempt here, where Painted Dog TV were there, in terms of the filming, that within 48 hours of rubbing them together, they are cohesive as a pack.
And yes, guys, that is Tristan there, you're saying in the background.
Yes.
And then, Alamo, how much does a painted dog weigh?
So average is about 30 to 35 kilograms, but it does vary quite a bit, and particularly if they've just eaten. A wild dog can eat as much as 2 kilograms of meat in a single feeding, so then they fatten up quite quickly, which we've even seen from the photographs, you know, just after they've hunted, that they can fatten up quite quickly, and the heaviest is up to about 45 kilograms.
That'd be a beastly dog.
Huge, yeah.
And Betty would like to know, how old do puppies need to be before they can be relocated on their own?
So we generally don't relocate puppies because that would generally mean that they form a cohesive pack already. So when we're forming new packs, you're taking single sex groups of adult males and adult females to form a new pack. When you're relocating pups to a new reserve, we generally wouldn't do it, but in terms of darting, it's also then a risk to dart the puppies because of the dosages of the drugs that would be used. So we generally wouldn't relocate pups, but in an emergency then you would do it through a net capture or a boma capture, like we've alluded to with the recent net capture. You would catch them in a net and then just physically catch them behind and put them into the transport crates.
Steffi wants to know, what is the success rate of artificial bonding?
We've done about 100 of them now, and it's a 90 to 95% success rate.
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, a lot more successful than bonding them through the fence. So it's a lot more successful, and it will eventually be successful in time, but this just makes it more successful in a lot shorter space of time, which is financially beneficial as well.
Rachel wants to know, are you satisfied with the pack success, this bonding success of this pack so far?
100%, yeah. It was actually...
We saw them this morning.
Yeah, we saw them this morning. It's actually been one of the most successful, and I don't want to jinx it and touch wood, but of all the bondings that I've done, they've all been 100% successful. So the bondings I've done, there's never been aggression, there's never been animosity after this olfactory recognition bonding rubbing technique. It's always been successful when I've been involved, so it's incredibly successful.
Must be you.
Maybe I smell like a wild dog.
Yeah. Well, actually, someone who was that who was asking, Julie wants to know, if you had to describe the smell of a painted dog, how would you describe it? I've heard guides say they can smell them before they see them.
So that is 100% true, that the more you spend time with them, the more you can smell them before you see them. But in terms of a description, the closest, and I don't even know if the smell would be a good description, but it's a musky smell.
I say it smells like excitement. That's me. I get excited when I start smelling dogs.
That's how
driving faster.
But that's how you feel when you smell them. The actual description of the scent is
wet. A very wet dog that's been wet for about a week.
Yeah, that could be a good description.
A good one. Thanks, Ernie. We're going to stick to the dogs for now, but for those who have multiple screens up, there is an elephant on one of the live cams at the moment. And apparently there was a cheetah a few seconds while we were while we were in insert as well. So it's all happening out there tonight. Helgard would like to know, what is the minimum number of dogs to form a pack?
Minimum number based on historical research is 7. That's a minimum viable pack size. But in the process of introducing wild dogs, because it's a single sex group and of males and females, effectively a minimum pack size is 2. You need one male and one female. We try to go for a larger pack size, especially if you're introducing them into larger areas like Gorongosa, where I don't want to use the word collateral, but there is, obviously with lions being the largest natural predator or competition with wild dogs, we try to have a larger pack of at least 10 dogs just to reduce the risk that it poses if you lose 1 or 2 females, or if you lose a couple of individuals in a small pack, then it can become risky. But effectively the minimum pack size is 2, 1 male and 1 female. And we generally do the introduction just before mating season, which is now November, December, in the hope that then they have pups, early the following year.
Angie would like to know, are the dogs inoculated against distemper, rabies?
Yes, distemper and rabies.
Perfect. Laura Moore says, it sounds like a moldy carpet smell. Sounds like a moldy carpet smell.
That's also a pretty good description.
Here we go. Is that? Exactly. It does. How old are the puppies when they are able to become independent? That's from Betty.
Okay, so effectively they become independent as adults only. So at 2 years old, they stay with the pack up until a year, where they are then considered yearlings, which they're still learning how to hunt and still following the pack, and they will become independent at 2 years. That's when we call them dispersal age, and then they leave their natal pack to go and find their own individuals to procreate with.
Oof, there's some really good questions tonight, Granty. How do you decide the land size necessary for a pack?
So the land size necessary is based on, for introduction, is based on the density of competing predators, so how many other lions in particular there are, and then the density of prey availability. Minimum reserve size in South Africa is around 10,000 hectares. That's the minimum that we would go to.
22,000 acres.
But it does vary based on the prey density. So particularly in KwaZulu-Natal, for example, where there's a lot of smaller reserves, but there's connectivity between those reserves through natural corridors, and that's still something that we try and go for, So even in introduction into Rietspruit, for example, we know that if they disperse out of Rietspruit, there's a very good chance of them going into Kruger, and that's exactly what happened. Yeah. So although Rietspruit at 5,000 hectares is not suitable to sustain a single pack of wild dogs, they can disperse from there and then go into big areas. But about 10,000 hectares is what we require. And then in Kruger, for a single pack, because the size of the area that's available to them and the density of competing carnivores, they require about 100,000 hectares for one pack. And I think we spoke about it in the last Animal World Live that I was here, that in an area the size of Greater Johannesburg, which is about 100,000 hectares, you could have 30 wild dogs and 100 lions in that area, and that's effectively then could be only one pack of wild dogs in that large area.
Welcome, Aaron. First time joining us here on Painted Dog TV. Nice to have you here for the live show. Apparently there was a guy wearing a camouflage coverall in the background of the video somewhere.
Oh yeah, so that's a ghillie suit.
Yeah, so a ghillie suit.
Yeah, so that was a ghillie suit, and that was, so when we bonded those dogs, the males were in the boma and the females came from the other reserve. Yes. So those males they were in the boma for quite a while, but they, once they've been released, so we put them back into the boma for the reintroduction of the females, and they become quite skittish. They had actually broken out of the reserve, and so they became skittish of humans because of human-wildlife conflict. And then that's just one of the other techniques that is used in order to dart the dogs in the boma without adding stress to them. So they don't know that you're there because you're in that leafy, grassy ghillie suit. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I lost who it is from, but someone says, do you ever remove the collars or put new ones?
Yeah, so most of the collars that Endangered Wildlife Trust use, particularly in Kruger, is they've actually got a remote drop-off release. So it's got an electromagnet on it, and when the battery of the unit dies, then that electromagnet dies, and then the collar pops off on itself. But we would never keep a collar on that's not working. So even if it doesn't have that drop-off unit or that electromagnet release, once the collars stop working, then we remove the collars.
Thank you so much, Patty. Rosalind would like to know, how fast can the dogs run?
65 kilometers an hour, yeah, and they can maintain, the most important with wild dogs is how long they can maintain it. So it's the endurance as opposed to the speed. So they can maintain that 65 kilometers an hour for up to an hour.
It's incredible. I've been with wild dogs driving down the old railway line in the Sabi Sands, doing 65 kilometers an hour next to them while they chased the Stenbok. It's unbelievable, incredible, and they kept going and going, and then they went where I couldn't go 65 kilometers an hour off-road. And then Rosin, also, how old are the dogs in this pack?
In the pack that we introducing?
Reintroduced, yeah.
The males are 4 years old and the females are 3 years old.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Aaron, indeed, the African wild dog is on the endangered species list. It is one of the most endangered.
Yeah, so most endangered carnivore in South Africa, large carnivore in South Africa, and the second most endangered in Africa, only to the Ethiopian wolf.
Yes. All right, so James Johnson, it says, how do you find the collar when it drops off?
So the collar,
a little residual battery.
Yeah, no, it's not a residual battery. So the battery is linked, or that drop-off unit is linked to the satellite, but there's still a second battery to the VHF, so the normal telemetry, which then you would go and search for the collar.
Now, as I said, we were with those dogs this morning. LED lenses made so much light that the dove's
waking up.
The dove thinks it's sunrise again. It's giving us it's telling us to work harder, work harder. Sorry, but Jesus, loud. Go away, go away. Thank you. On cue. What was it? Oh, this morning we actually went to go have a look at that dog.
Yeah, the pack.
The pack, yes, sorry, not the dog.
Yeah, so one of our new metapopulation or range expansion reserves, they're due to be released from the holding facility or boma soon, so it was just one of the final checkups to see how they're doing. And the reason, one of the other reasons why is that the dogs have been in the boma for 3 months now, and they've started mating recently. So that's something that I went to go and check up on, just to see how that's going, which is just epitomizes the fact that the bonding has gone well. And we separated into short-term success of the bonding and the long-term success. And the short-term success is that there's no aggression, they rest together, they feed together, and there's no who calling. And then the long-term success is breeding success. So this is now like an indication of the first phase of the long-term success of a bonding, is that they start mating and then have pups. And that's ready now for them to be released, with the pups then hopefully coming out early next year.
Okay, now I saw that. Where was this now? Rachel would like to know how many wild dogs are currently in South Africa.
In South Africa, including pups from the 2020 denning season, for the first time we got to just over 600 individuals, which is around 380 in Kruger National Park, about 80 to 100 free roaming outside of protected areas, and then the rest within 16 fenced range expansion reserves within South Africa. So just over 600. And then about 6,000 globally.
So now Aaron, who's joining us for the first time, saying that he doesn't think there are any dogs in Kenya or anywhere else in East Africa, which is not quite true. There are dogs in Kenya. They come through from the Serengeti. And Tanzania has got a very big population of wild dogs, but particularly down in the south.
Yeah, so Kenya, Masai Mara, they did have a massive decline of the wild dog population in the late 90s as a result of disease outbreaks.
Distemper mostly.
Yeah, distemper mostly, yeah. So that did have a massive knock on the population, and they were actually incorrectly thought to have been locally extinct, but they systematically recolonized from surrounding areas. Yeah.
It was the one animal I didn't see when I was in the Mara.
Oh, really?
So the dogs were seen when I was on leave, 2 of them, and then they were seen at Sala's when I was on the other side of the river, and then there has been a reintroduction, I think, in some of the conservancies up into the north.
Yes.
Yeah, which have done quite well.
Quite well.
But other than that, Tanzania's got a healthy population of wild dogs. Zambia, Botswana. And that's about it, really. They're fragmented.
There's fragments in other areas. Zimbabwe's got fragmented populations, but South Africa's got, in fact, because of the range expansion project and the wild dog advisory group, South Africa's got the only increasing population of wild dogs, which is why we're expanding outside of South Africa,
etc. So the first international movement of dogs from the range expansion program was into Mozambique.
They have been historically just across the border into Botswana, into Limpopo. Introduced. Yeah, Limpopo Party, but that was just to bolster the population there, because there were dogs coming through, single-sex groups coming through, and they were running around there without individuals to meet up with. So we just introduced there. But the first sort of full pack reintroduction is into Mozambique. Yeah.
Which is exciting, and hopefully to other places in Africa in the not too distant future.
Definitely, yeah.
Now, guys, we can't say for sure just yet, but we're hoping that we're going to be able to show you the release of this pack on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's the plan. So they are going to be released from the temporary holding facility, the Boma, early next week. On Makalali Private Game Reserve, which obviously Endangered Wildlife Trust is involved in, and so hopefully we're going to be able to film it live and show you the release of the dogs from the Boma.
Okay, well, we're going to get back to now Wimpy, who you met, who helped us with the net capture.
Yes.
He wants to know, do you guys sell wild dogs?
No, so
to go to another pack or to other reserves that want dogs.
That's a very interesting question, and quite different to a lot of the other carnivals. You can buy lines. So with the range expansion project and with WAG, there's no financial value associated with wild dogs, mainly because they're so endangered, you know. And wild dogs also interestingly aren't listed on CITES. So CITES is the Convention of International Trade, and historically there hasn't been a high demand for wild dogs, and we don't want to create that demand by associating financial value to them. So when we introduce wild dogs, it's a donation from South Africa to the other reserves, and there's zero value associated with them. There's no value associated. There are wild dogs that are currently being sold within the captive sort of facilities where there's a financial value associated with them, but not within the free roaming or range expansion project. There's no financial value.
So everyone knows, those captive dogs are actually not useful to the population.
No, they're not viable.
When you see dogs, if you ever do come out here, there are a lot of places, I'm not going to say any names because I don't want to be sued, in and around a lot of areas of South Africa where you can go look at a cheetah and a lion and a wild dog in a cage. They are not good places. They are not helping conservation. They always say they are. It is absolute, I cannot say a bad word, but be something else. And we should try always stay away. And if you are wondering, if you are out here, please just send us a message through the app. We will let you know if the facility you are visiting is one of the good ones or one of the tourist traps that are just about financial gain and taking advantage of animals. So Alar Moore would like to know, what about SSP programs and captive management? I think we should have covered that sort of.
Yeah. Look, I mean, so the captive management, it's always a tricky one, and it's actually something that came up the other day in communication or discussions with colleagues. And the age-old question about education or people that don't have the opportunity to go and see them in the wild or whatever obviously does ring true. But then someone said to me, ask a 5-year-old about dinosaurs and they'll tell you more about a dinosaur than any other animal. And that's not from going to a zoo or to a captive facility. It's about reading and you know, just gaining knowledge through technology, which is the opportunity that Painted Dog TV gives, you know, is that you can learn from the experts in the field and from social media and online. It really isn't, you know, that important to see an animal in captivity.
So Arlo is about species survival plan programs in the US zoos.
Yeah, so the species survival, and that's where it does link, and that comes from a funding point of view, is that most of the conservation projects, so that's in situ, which is in the wild, and then ex situ, which is in these captive facilities or zoos or whatever, fund the research and conservation of work that's being done in the wild. So that species protection programs, that's exactly what it is. And that's a huge benefit, obviously, you know. Endangered Wildlife Trust
is slightly different from what we were talking about, which is a place you pay to go look at animals, or it's a
and there's huge profit margins on those places, where at least there's a percentage of funds that are raised from zoos in the States or in these safari parks in the UK or whatever, and those profits then at least get contributed to on-the-ground conservation, which is then obviously hugely beneficial.
Exactly. So that is a very different thing to what we're speaking about. What we're speaking about is sort of the same place where the canned lion industry gets their from, etc., etc. And there are a lot of them. And the only way to get rid of them is with education, and by not going there and not giving them money. And now, of course, as I said, you're gonna have to keep updated. But as part of Painted Dog Month, of course, we've got that very exciting, the world's first live collaring on the 6th, Sunday, the 6th of December. And you can become part of helping to fund in particular, the Endangered Wildlife Trust's Kruger National Park Wild Dog program, which is part of the range expansion, part of everything else, by becoming a sponsor. And you can do that as an individual or as a company. So if your company might be interested in giving back to a bit of African conservation, there you can email us at info@painteddog.tv. There's a lot of info there, and we can send you through all the information. But in the meantime, I think we're going to try, if Signal works. So this is not a promise. If Signal works, we're going to do a live release, free for everyone. From the Makalali Wild Dogs, from the Boma, and that will be on Tuesday morning. And obviously this has come across quite quickly, so that'll be quite exciting, but we will keep you up to date. We still need to make sure it can work. We're pretty sure with Wium's genius it will, but if it doesn't, we will still film it regardless, whether it's live or not live. We'd love to have you there live. It is unfortunately going to be at one of those awkward times for you guys in the Northern Hemisphere. Well, particularly North America. So it'll be about 7 in the morning, which is quite late for a lot of people. So we're going to get back to that in a second. But of course, next weekend is the last week of Painted Dog Month. It
is. Of course, Painted Dog year continues for me and you.
Every day is Painted Dog Day. We were with Grant and Joel and Ben, who you'll hopefully they don't get called out, and they'll be with us sitting right here next week. And we got to do something incredible, which is the net capture of free roaming wild dogs. So we don't want to give away too much. You're going to have to join us next week to find out a bit more what happened there. And of course, that will be the last of Painted Dog Month. And then the first weekend in December will be the live collaring. And if you would like to get more information, please email info@paintedDogTV, and we will send you through the flyer that's got all the links and what to do, what you need to do to be part of this process, and to help fund the Endangered Wildlife Trust Kruger National Park Wild Dog Project. So very, very exciting times, and hopefully we're going to be able to do a few more of these going forward.
That's certainly the plan. Endangered Wildlife Trust has got plans over the next 3 years to continue with the collaring and monitoring of wild dogs in Greater Kruger National Park, and also with the range expansion project. And so I will be around and involved with Brent and Painted Dog TV for the next couple of years to come.
Yeah, you're not going to get rid of either of us. Oh, well, thank you so much, Grant.
Thank you, Brent,
and we'll see you next week.
Thanks to all the followers we'll be here next week, and thanks to all the followers and supporters. And then, I mean, just to throw out as well, if anyone ever wants to ask me questions, they're welcome to email me directly as well,
or go on to Grant's Instagram, KNP
Wild Dogs.
KNP Wild Dogs, at KNP Wild Dogs. Melissa will pop it up for me now. She can hear me shouting at KNP Wild Dogs.
Thank you.
There we go. Thumbs up from Melissa. Vimpy wants to know, is there a video premiering tomorrow? No, Vimpy. Xander's shaking his head. He wants to hit you with a stick now. Next time you come here, you're going to have to change all the tires and dig all the holes. Next week, there will be the net catcher premiering. I think, let's do it, let's move, well, let's chat about it. Let's do it straight after the show, I think. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Nice. So you can even be part of the production meetings. But thank you so much, Grant.
Thank you, Ren.
And we will see you again next week.
And see you next week. Cheers, everyone.
So we've got a few last things to run through. And of course, a very big thank you to all our patrons, our super chat sponsors, the Steenbach family, Pridelands, Eco Training, Lead Lenser, who made it so light that the doves started calling, thinking it was daylight already. And of course, you, our patrons, and our supporters and subscribers who just make what we do possible. Now, of course, there's been a lot of comments on a lot of the live shows and a lot of our social media about myself and Jamie. Now, unfortunately, Jamie and I are not together. We haven't been together for some time, and we would like you to respect our privacy when it comes to this. These are, after all, our private lives. And of course, all of us here are massively supportive of Jamie and her new career as a vet. And we wish her all the best in her studies, and we do love her dearly. But Jamie and I are no longer a couple, and we just ask you to respect our privacy. Thank you. After that, remember, Painted Dog Month, like, share, subscribe. We need to get as much money as we can for the KNP Wild Dog Project. And we love you long time, and we'll see you soon. Mwah!
She just combined the yawning and did you guys hear?
Look at that. Oh, it's so pretty. Look how he's lifting his legs because it's hot. Now, he's going to be looking for any other insects, smaller insects, that might be attracted to the dung ball. Jump, jump. Oh, hot feet, hot feet, hot feet, hot feet, hot feet, hot feet, hot foot, hot foot, coming right at Brian, charging Brian. Hot foot, hot foot. You hear those little snap crackles. Do you know what it is? So there's a type of moth species that lay their larvae in the stumbuti seeds, and to get out, they literally jump. Let's see. Thought it was jumping. There we go. Boop. Jump. Isn't that so cool? What is inside the jumping bean?